What misconceptions do people have about the stock market?
They think it's just for the elite. I think the reality is it's open for all of us. They just have, we're trying to let people know that this is something that they can do.
And you don't need a bunch of money either.
No, you don't.
Hey guys, welcome to my home. Today I have Pete and Jon Najarian, super traders, Market Rebellion. They've been trading stocks for 40 years publicly. Your track record speaks like volumes, and I'm just so excited about the partnership that we're providing our audience that wants to get involved in calls and puts and options and things I don't understand yet. I'm super excited because they're going to teach me while they share this information with you and simplify and demystify the stock market. I guess what I want to know, okay, why do you guys pick me to do this with?
Oh, well, a whole bunch of reasons. Not the least of which, I mean, when I met you, I liked you. I knew you had a passion for helping people, for democratizing real estate investment.
Yeah.
And that is so cool because so many people can benefit from that. My wife is one of them. She, jumped on one of your projects and she's been happy about it, and she gets a monthly check.
Yeah.
And
so she's got two men taking care of her.
That's right.
Well, at least one.
Or at least one.
Yeah.
But
well, that real estate takes care of you. When the guy can't.
Right.
That's
or when
true.
your paycheck can't.
Yep. That's right. And what we thought was our purpose for the last 25, 30 years has been to democratize the stock market.
Yes.
To demystify it.
Yes.
To let people
Dude,
understand
I love this.
how things really work in the stock market. So I think that way, we're aligned in what you do, democratizing real estate investment and making it fairer for investors. And that's what we're all about too.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think that really stood out about you was that you were pushing back.
Yeah.
I think that made it even more interesting. That made you intriguing because you're pushing back, and I think you're pushing back for a lot of the right reasons. So we wanted to open it up for you just to say, hey, you know what? Here's the way you can actually do it. This is how you can approach the stock market. And you have a very open mind, so you're willing to at least listen. And all of a sudden, we started having conversations, and it started to elevate a little bit more, and you realize, you know what? Maybe there is another way to do this whole thing.
Because I thought, guys, that the only way to buy stocks was you buy a stock, you get it right, or you don't get it right. You either sell and make money, or you and then you regret that you didn't buy more.
Yeah.
Or you take your loss, and then I got to do it again. And then when you guys started talking to me about the other ways that the insiders are doing it. So when you guys started telling me about the footprints of data, what do you call it? Unusual activity.
Unusual activity.
Yeah, that became very intriguing to me, that we could democratize and make Wall Street available to the everyday person.
Yeah, because, like right now, every few years you get something like Roaring Kitty that comes along. And it's a guy that drives a bunch of people into a stock, and the stock jumps. It goes up a lot, but then it comes down just as fast as it went up. So it's almost a rigged game in that regard, because everybody says, oh, Roaring Kitty's in, I'm going to jump in on GameStop. I'm going to jump in on AMC, the movie theater chain.
But by the time we've read it, it's too late, right?
Right. He's getting out when they're getting in.
Yeah.
And so we want to get in when those big trades are happening, not after. And so that's one of the things we've developed, algorithms and other stuff that helps us follow and find.
My best investor is somebody that's been educated first.
Sure.
Not that just puts money in first.
Right.
And so when we talked about educating the public and simplifying it and boiling it down to the simplicity of what some of the stuff you guys explained to me, that became interesting to me to help the public. 70% of our audience is investing in the stock market, and I'm not providing them with any tools. So,
and we wanted to open that door.
Yeah.
We wanted to open that door so that people could understand that, hey, look, this is not just for the elite. This is they've told you that forever, right? The stock market's only for these rich guys that are walking around with sweaters and swetter vests and all that fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is, anybody can be involved. And at any level, at any age, they as long as they are educated and have that side of it, they can actually start moving the chips onto them a little bit, gives the opportunity. And that's what we're trying to do, is simplifying it. Not trying to say, hey, look, it's the easiest thing in the world and everything you buy is going to go up, but try to simplify exactly what it is, how you can kind of position yourself into that. And with that, how do you protect yourself as well? If you can get all of that together, and you can, that's a great day.
What misconceptions do people have about the stock market?
They think it's just for the elite. I've used that expression before, but I think the reality is it's open for all of us. We're trying to let people know that this is something that they can do. If they want to participate in the market, they can. It's not something that's just for a certain class of people. It's for everybody. And why not take advantage of it?
Yeah, you don't need to have an Ivy League education.
And you don't need a bunch of money either.
No, you don't. And
like in real estate, you need a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's keep it real.
In trading, you don't need to have a big chunk of money to start with.
Like what could somebody start with?
$5,000, $2,000 to $5,000 would probably be where you need to be. But once you have that, now all of a sudden you can get multiples on the return. Like most people, Grant, I looked at a Fidelity statement the other day. Fidelity said of their millions of accounts that they have, the average over the last 10 years has been 40% over 10 years, not 40% a year, 40% over 10 years.
4%.
40. But 40% over 10 years means
so 4% per year.
Yeah, it's a terrible
barely keeps
return.
up with inflation.
That doesn't sound that great, does it?
And that's just somebody that throws money into a 401k and says, okay, grow. And now you're all of a sudden right at inflation.
Right.
You're not even keeping up with inflation if you do that. So if you understand how to move into the right direction, how to invest in the right kinds of stocks, where's the momentum right now? Is the momentum in Ozempic stocks? Stocks that are making people more healthy, thinner, this, that, and the other thing? Yeah, that's where momentum is right now. Lilly, Novodisc, many of these companies are where the momentum is. That's where the smart money is investing. And you just don't want to be late to the party because they love doing these things.
But how does somebody, like for me, to me, it's a very complicated. How many different stocks are there?
7,000.
Thousands, yeah.
So when
7,000.
somebody gets started with this on the educational portion, okay, are they going to be looking at 7,000 stocks?
No.
So simplify that for me.
They want to be able to break down, and John and I have always talked about this as well. What do you think you know best about things? It could be as simple as saying, hey, you know what? I see what's going on with Walmart. We just had earnings just the other day, by the way, in Walmart. Turns out they're doing pretty damn good. Why are they doing so well? Well, because the trade down that happened when people were very concerned over the last couple of years, and the trade down, they all of a sudden realized, you know what, Walmart's not such a bad place. And all of a sudden you look at their earnings and they're absolutely crushing it. Why are they crushing it? Well, because people that went there all of a sudden realized, you know what, they got demystified. They realized
So you're
this
saying,
is a different company than they thought it was.
Yeah,
right?
so you're saying for the person, the family that's shopping at Walmart, that's the place to start.
That's one of the places.
Or maybe you're going to Costco every day, or maybe you're downloading AI. You got three. The place to start is the stuff you're using, like something you're familiar with.
Something you know, something you understand. Right?
Yeah, that's very similar to real estate.
It could be whatever.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're somebody who, for instance, you go to O'Reilly Auto Parts, or you go to Advanced Auto Parts, or one of
and
those.
you're spending $800 there to do something. You're like, boom,
and
hey
then
man,
you
pay
look at
attention
the
to this.
line of people waiting to check out, and you're saying, this place must be doing okay.
Yeah, so any place you spend money would be a place to start, right?
Yep. That's what Peter Lynch always said.
Peter Lynch always said that.
Invest in what you know.
What your kids are
I used to
buying.
always do this thing called boots on the ground. I haven't done it in a long time, but that's what I do every single day. Boots on the ground means I'm walking around, I'm looking at things. I see how many yachts are out there down here, all the different boats that people don't realize is Minnesota's got 10,000 lakes. That means there's a hell of a lot of boats up there.
Right.
And there are. But if you see anything start to change, is it snowmobiles? Is it this? There's a lot of different. You just look at the companies. Where are people spending their money? Right? You see restaurants that have a line. In-N-Out Burger's not publicly traded, but something like that. You see a line out the door, Chick-fil-A, whatever it might be. All of a sudden, there's an idea, and you start looking around.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they might be taking business away from McDonald's. So do you want to actually go to McDonald's? Maybe not. All these things come into, and it's literally just by having boots on the ground, walking around and seeing what you have with your own eyes.
And that's very similar to real estate. It's like we look at where am I going? Where are people going? I'm looking at where people are building homes or not, and that's where we make our place. So there is some similarities. Let's just talk about that. What are the similarities between investing in a stock and me going out and finding a great real estate deal? Are there any similarities?
There are some, I think. What you do, Grant, in my mind anyway, is you invest an awful lot like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett says, I won't buy a stock unless it's a stock I'd be comfortable owning for years, even if the market's shut down.
Yeah.
Well, your side of investing in real estate is something, you're not flipping that thing in 2 months.
Right.
You're buying it with the intention of milking it, getting all that great revenue, selling it after the appreciation, getting that better tax treatment and all that kind of stuff. Same thing with stocks. Same thing with stocks, except you have a lot more liquidity in the short term. You can get in and out of stocks. I wouldn't tell most people that they should try to do that on a daily or a weekly basis, but you can. And I would say...
You can where you can't do that in real estate.
Exactly.
That's impossible.
Exactly. And so with stocks...
So you get some liquidity. That's a benefit.
Yep, you get
to meet people that want liquidity.
Trillions of dollars of liquidity.
A day.
That just people buying and selling stocks. It's literally, of those 7,000 stocks, trillions of dollars in and out, because for every buyer, there's a seller. Well, somebody's going to time it wrong, and they're going to miss out. Too bad. And somebody's going to be right and make some money. And that's why Warren Buffett always says, let's wait and be patient about that investment. So people can do that with stocks, too.
Yeah.
They get the preferential stock treatment of taxes, long-term capital gains. You hold that stock for a year, you get capital gains, 20% instead of whatever, 50.
Yeah.
You can also be in there and match up your losses against your gains and take your taxable liability down. So there are so many things you can do, but just nobody has told people about financial independence that they can achieve by owning and trading stocks.
It's all about financial literacy, and then by knowing that and understanding it, I think the most important thing really is the difference being liquidity. I mean, to your point, you do the real estate thing, that's a much more difficult process, right? It takes some time. It's not something where you bought it today, it's gone up significantly, you're selling it on Friday. It's
never going to happen.
Are you there? Right. So
impossible.
I think liquidity is really something of a game changer, to be honest with you, because it gives you that opportunity, and that's something that makes it even more fun. And the liquidity is going to be there.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
And you talked to me last night about also the potential to create cash flow by using some of these other strategies that the big boys use, that you just watch what they're doing. Can you just talk about how do I create cash flow for a family?
We can show folks how not just that dividend that the stock pays, again, using Warren Buffett, that dividend is giving money to perfect strangers. So most of the folks that have invested in your real estate, that portfolio, multi-billion-dollar portfolio of real estate you've got. For the most part, nobody, no company, not Apple, not Google, none of these companies know how many shareholders, by name. They don't, but those people are BlackRock, Vanguard, Blackstone, State Street,
Fidelity,
all of those folks.
Yeah.
They're holding the 401ks and all the rest for all these folks. Well, that's an opportunity, we think, to really move it to the next level. To get that dividend, which anybody can get, anybody that owns Apple stock is going to get a 2% dividend. Anybody that owns a REIT, that are publicly traded REITs,
could get
5 to 6,
5 to 6% dividend, but they get it every quarter, which is money.
But there's also the calls and the options that we're going to be teaching people about, right? And you guys are going to be teaching me how to do this while the audience learns. So any of you that are interested in getting involved in the educational part, the financial literacy part of Wall Street, to demystify, simplify, make it easy, you can get started with a very little bit of money. We're doing a partnership where we're going to provide this kind of education to our audience.
Well, your hat says it all, cash flow, right?
Yep.
So when you think about that, that's what we're trying to create for people. They're not only getting the dividend that's already there, they're going to have some buybacks and stuff, but that's where we can enhance this whole thing. We can kind of create that cash flow that people are looking for. And it might be it could be once a month that they're getting a little bit more flow.
Yeah.
It could be each week. It all just depends on what that stock is, what kind of liquidity that particular name has, because some are very liquid, some are less liquid. But it gives you the opportunity at least to create a little bit more cash flow as you've bought that stock.
Yeah,
nice.
And would you want, when I gave that example from Fidelity, where they have, over a 10-year period, somebody that put in $1 million now has $1.4 million. That's a 40% return over 10 years. But the rule of 72 is that if you're making 7.2%, your money should double every 10 years.
Yeah.
they don't. Most people aren't coming close to that.
Right.
And that's because they just leave their money in the 401k, IRA, Schwab account, whatever it is, and they don't do anything with it. And none of those places are incented to get people educated about this is how you can really make money in the stock market. They just want that money sitting there so they can lend it out like a bank.
So why do you guys think $34 trillion has gone into IRAs? And
Because they bought into that big lie.
Yeah,
they bought into
I
the
agree with
lie that if they throw this money in here, how much money do you think Goldman Sachs makes, or any of the big brokerage firms, money center banks, how much do you think they make off of your money if you send them a whole bunch of money on the 401k? I guarantee they're making a better return than you are, and then they're going to charge you fees on top of it. End of story.
And people only think that's the only way they can go.
Right.
That's all they got. That's all they know. That's all they got.
So, guys, you talked about the system being rigged and the cards are stacked. Okay, how is that a reality?
Well, because anytime you want to try to follow smart money, anytime that you would like to be in the investment that Warren Buffett, that Ray Dalio, that any of these guys are in, you're not hearing about it until they tell you on TV 3 months after they've actually done it. They're probably getting out when you're getting in.
And do you guys see it?
Oh, yeah.
You see the activity
That's
before?
One of the beautiful things about what we do for a living is we
anybody
actually see it. They'd have to have all the right algorithms. That's why they want to see what we are seeing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great. So we're going to show that to them.
Yep.
So what do the big guys know that Grant and the everyday investor does not know?
The biggest investors out there on Wall Street, the hedge funds, the Warren Buffetts and so forth, they spend billions of dollars on commissions. They've got teams of analysts that are looking at the stocks, and they know when Elon Musk is going to come out with a statement on an analyst day, and they're going to get in there and get in there ahead of it. So if you had that money to spend, Grant, which none of us do.
And the research, commissions, brokers.
If you're trading millions of shares a day, you're generating millions of dollars in commissions every day for one of these big firms. They're the guys that get the first shot at the best information.
It sounds to me like you're talking about insider trading.
It's not necessarily insider trading, but they have the money.
It sounds like they're some
insiders. They have the money to be able to get inside. It's not illegal. They're just getting inside when the rest of us aren't able to get inside. And that's the advantage, and that's what they're trying to work against us if they can.
So, Grant, who do you think they invite to the Masters every year? Who do you think sits in the skybox at the Super Bowl? Who do you think gets those first baseline seats at the World Series? The guys that have spent the most money with these firms. That's the same thing with trading. Those people get the first look. They get the best information because they spent a lot of money with those brokers.
And you get it second, third, and fourth hand.
And probably 3 or 4 weeks late. The reason I love real estate, as you guys know, is the cash flow.
Oh, yeah.
How do I get that out of stocks?
Grant, there's an amazing number, hundreds of ways that you can actually get that cash flow from all these various stocks.
Am I wrong when I think that investing in the stock market is gambling?
Investing in the stock market for most people is gambling because they're not educated and they don't have the right information.
Or the big guys gambling?
The big guys are not gambling in the stock market. The big guys are making bank every single day. That's why you want to do what the big boys do.
They have the opportunity to open those doors that we don't. And so because of that, they have changed it from gambling. No, they're not gambling, but oftentimes other people are.
You know, I love real estate because I get the cash flow, the tax write-offs, the depreciation, the long-term appreciation from the asset. I have a real physical asset I can see. How is that different than investing in stocks? And can I get those things?
Yes, absolutely. You can do exactly that. You can do all the things that you do in real estate, but we're going to actually motor that thing up even a little bit better because we're going to actually create things that actually give you much stronger positions in every single one of those categories. And you've got the liquidity, and you've got the leverage. All of that is in your favor.
Grant, when you look at somebody who gets caught on the wrong side of the market, if it's in real estate, chances are that bank's going to take the real estate and sell it out from under you. You don't have the liquidity in real estate because you got to find the buyer. You don't have to find the buyer in the stock market. Liquidity's there. Every second that the market's open, you can get in or get out.
Can I limit my losses?
Yes. You can also protect that portfolio the same way you protect a building with insurance. And we show people how to do that.
What's the best trade you ever made?
$22 million on one trade.
Tell me about it.
Sounds like a good trade.
Well, so I bought this stock at 10 cents it went to $28. Does that happen every day? It does for somebody.
Yeah. Now,
every day
did your
somebody
brother know
does.
you were making this trade?
No, the guy never told me a damn thing.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Tell you what, I feel like
He
I'm a
was in the same
stepchild.
thing.
Why didn't you call me? Now, let
should've
me ask
called
you, what can my audience hope to get from this partnership?
A lot of great information and confidence so that when they invest, they're going to feel confident. Grant, we've been trading for over 40 years. We used to trade for the partners at Goldman Sachs.
Wow.
So not the customers, the partners at Goldman Sachs. Do you think they thought we were pretty good? The answer is that they knew that information is king.
How long would it take me to learn this information that you guys have?
Grant, we believe nobody can teach people faster how to understand the market, how to profit from the market. Nobody, because they don't have our experience. Somebody read it in a book and they're going to try to teach you online. That's not the same thing at all. We've got the experience. We've got a great team. We know we can deliver, and we've done it for 40 years.
And the difference is you're practitioners. You're making trades today.
Yes.
Right?
Every day.
Did you make one this morning?
I haven't made one yet this morning because I'm sitting here.
Fuck this place.
If you wanted to learn how to skateboard and somebody said, I've got 40 years of experience, I can show you how to skateboard, you're still going to need a little time
You
on
need
that
the confidence.
skateboard to feel confident, right?
Little experience.
That's exactly right. But we can
I
show
can make a trade. You could give me the data. I could make a trade with you. I still won't have the confidence until I've done that a number of times.
Right.
But I can make a trade.
Right.
Yeah,
Right?
and you start small. They don't need to make $1 million the first day. They need to start making money, feeling confident.
Well, I'm excited about this, guys, because my audience wants this. My audience deserves it. I want to democratize Wall Street, like banking, like real estate, buying businesses, the same thing that we've done to democratize and make available great information and intelligence and confidence. I'm just so excited about this partnership.
We are too. Thank
Yeah.
you, man.
You're the man.